Hello and welcome to Buying and Beyond, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of retail buying. We're Kate and Linz, and together we have over 30 years experience in retail.
We'll be talking all things retail buying and beyond, so grab your drink of choice and come and have a giggle with us. Hi, Katie.
Hi Linz, back again. And we're going travelling again.
We are.
So this time, inspiration trips.
I love an inspiration trip.
So much fun. Now these can be anywhere, often abroad, but they can be cities in your home country. And it is different. It's different to a trade fair or a product development trip. It's all about immersing yourself in a new place, identifying new trends, spotting new emerging themes, and seeing shops and products from a customer point of view. So it's similar to a comp shop when visiting a store, or street style when you're trend spotting in Ibiza, or at a festival. Do you remember when a few buyers, and I think some designers they went to Coachella?
Oh, gosh, yeah. How did they swing that one?
The best inspiration trip ever.
Yeah. Need to go to Coachella. At least it wasn't Fire Festival.
Oh, God, can you imagine?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. I don't know. I think that happened twice. But I think by the time I got to Bayer, they weren't doing that anymore.
I mean, seriously, conned on to how much value they got out of that. I mean, they probably did get some bestsellers.
I think they got some great pictures, some really good trends, because people go all out in Coachella.
Yeah.
And I think at the time that they went, I think we're talking, I know I like my big numbers, but I'm pretty sure we're talking at least 6 years ago.
Oh, more than that.
10?
10.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Cool.
And that high summer theme was always really popular, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that was what it was really based around.
And
you think how much turnover that was.
Well, they'd turn it around so quickly as well, wouldn't they? Because Coachella's in the spring.
Yeah.
And they'd be doing it for that summer, that high summer bit.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
So you'd only have a couple of, it was working on a really tight lead time. They would be you'd air them. And they'd be top store pieces.
They would. That was proper fast fashion days.
But it was really good because you got the buyers and the designers going. So you had them basically doing the design briefs while they were out there, sending them straight to the factory from the festival. From festival to factory. But it can be really good when you go out with other departments, can't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think most recent companies that I've worked for, I've gone with quite a few marketing people, not just designers or suppliers or other.
Then you've got the whole concept, haven't you?
Yeah, so you're just standing on the shop floor having completely different conversation than you would from a product development point of view, and you're really thinking about how you're going to market this concept to the customer.
Yeah, you're taking it all in, aren't you? So you're standing in a customer's shoes, taking in everything they will, but with two really detail-orientated people on two really important sections of that customer journey.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that it's a really great way to find emerging trends. We do a lot of workshops to try and work out the trends and the product development directions that we're going to go in. So if you've got someone from marketing there as well, they're on the journey from the beginning of the cycle, before the workshop, before their other areas of input come in. They're pitching this idea to a creative agency after we've bought it, but they can be like, oh no, this started life from XYZ.
Yeah.
And you really get a journey going.
You're already thinking about how you're going to communicate this to the customer at the point of concept without waiting until you get a certain point down the line and then be like, so how can we best? And it helps you to influence your product as well, because actually thinking about how they might market it might make you think about some of the tweaks and changes you might make to your product to make it more customer friendly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they just have a different way of looking at things. So and you spend all that time with them on the trip that you just really kind of get into each other's worlds, which I think is good for them as well as good for you, so they can really understand the life cycle of a product and why it takes so long and why they may not have that sample for the campaign sheet if
why they need to
suddenly change it at the last minute,
or why that sample is so precious so they cannot lose it or deface it,
or throw it in the sea and cover it in sand.
Yeah. Oh, but it was just such a lovely idea. We just saw it just
emerge.
oh my God, that was the only sample I had, and now I don't have it, and now I'm never going to know if, the shipment sample comes in is right or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh dear.
Or they let the model go home with it. Oh, we just let the model go home with it. Sorry, what?
Or when they, last minute, I don't know, it's a bikini and you order just because generally, you have standard sizes, or you find out the sizes of the models and you get the sample, and then the day before the shoot, they're like, oh, actually, so I got her measurements wrong. What I meant was not an 8, I meant an 18. And you're like,
I can't make an 8 and 18.
How am I going to do that? They're like, can you just get us another sample? It's like, no, not really that easy because it's not in production yet, because it's still at the early stages. So, no, I need to ask the supplier to make it. They need to produce it, and then they need to send it over. So it's not going to be here tomorrow.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've had numerous occasions on that. I mean, we're going from tangent now, but I've had suppliers get things made and sent directly to the shoot location.
Oh,
or on one occasion, one of my suppliers got his mum to sew some cushions.
His mum to sew
he got his mum to sew some cushions that we needed for a furniture set, and bless her, they delivered to the shoot. Yeah,
I mean, definitely handcrafted.
Yeah, I mean, talk about problem solving.
I love that. It does give you a slight sort of like appreciation that they're going to all odds to get something ready and delivered straight there, but also makes me feel a little bit sick that I won't have seen that sample before it's ended up at the shoot, being shot and comes back, and you're looking at the carnet sheets.
Yeah.
And you're checking off like what's gone, and then you're checking off what it's come back like, and you're like, that. Checking the colour. Might need to completely change that. It's a different shape and colour and finish, and the supplier sent completely the wrong thing, and it's been shot for the campaign.
And you're just like, well, let's just hope they got it at the right angle. No one's going to know.
Or they're like, oh, I think that, this is going all store, this campaign.
Oh, yes. I thought it was,
image.
No, I clearly told you it was only top 5 stars.
You're going to have to extend that.
Now you're going to have to buy more. You're like,
okay, well, we've got a very, very tiny margin on that. And even if we increase the units, I'm not quite sure we're going to hit the target you need. We might have to bump that price up. Oh, that price is out of how, the price that you needed this entire shoot to look like.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. All the things that, we could go on.
Yeah, that is such another episode. We'll have to bring someone in, from marketing.
Definitely.
But back to the trips. Yeah. I think, so in terms of, where we've travelled to and what we found most beneficial is probably Christmas is a really big one. Travelling out to the States, going to New York, Chicago, amazing places to go and see
the first time I went to New York, and I remember boarding onto the plane, because it was Christmas time, boarding onto the plane, and they were playing Christmas music. Oh, I felt so festive. I loved it. Landed, and it had snowed.
Oh,
so I'm in New York, it's snowing, and it's a week or two before Christmas. And you're going into all the stores and everything's all decorated, and you've got the jingles like you feel like you're part of a movie.
Yeah. Home Alone.
Yeah, and all of the shop windows are amazing. Like all the effort that they put into it, absolutely fabulous. I remember I got so much from it. Like my creative. I was brimming with creativity.
Ideas,
I was overflowing.
100%.
And I remember going back being like, oh my God, New York is an absolute must. Have to go again. So got the trip signed off to go the next year. And it was all the same.
Yeah, I know. I know. I even said that. I said that before. I'm like holding my hand up, going, I don't think it's worth going again.
Deja vu. I was like, this feels familiar.
Yes, definitely.
On the one hand, it's like, it's great because they're not just bringing out new shop fits year after year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And Christmas is Christmas in so many ways.
It is.
So actually,
what do they say? You can't
don't reinvent
the
the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like a classic Christmas is I think most of us know classic Christmas sells absolute tops. It's the best. You can have some fun Christmas things out there, but classic is always
traditional.
It's always going to be your winner.
Yeah.
And
which the States do really well.
They
actually,
do really
on
well.
steroids.
And like, how much did I really expect like Macy's to be changing it each year? Like, if I think about retailers here that do seasonal, actually you keep your packaging and your POS, like your point of sale, the same for maybe a couple of years, 2-3 years. It's not worth it. And actually, from a sustainability point of view, like, there is no need to. But from like that moment of creativity, I was like, oh.
Okay.
And it was more about the second time. It was much more about less going to the big retailers and much more about seeking out those smaller, like, independents, looking much more at like gifting. And I think we've kind of talked about it before in comp shops, but like not just sticking to fashion retailers, actually
go
like
to the niche little boutique
going
shops.
to new hotels that have opened up, going to new restaurants that have opened up.
Because the interiors are in there are fantastic, and exhibitions, because they can affect trends, things like that,
and maybe go to New York every like 3 years,
I think
to keep it fresh. But there's other places in the US that you can go to.
I mean, we started over those sort of last 5 years go to Chicago, because it's just a little bit more commercial, and there's some great kind of more larger store format shops than New York, because obviously New York's an island, and I think that you get quite a bit more out of it from that point of view. There's great garden centres, there's great little plant shops, there's great like boutique gifting. Some brilliant ideas from Chicago. I think if you can do them both in one trip, because you're just all the way over there. I've done that before as well.
Because they go big, it's quite impactful and exciting. If we think more like Europe and European places to go for sort of that sort of winter period and gifting and things, like Amsterdam is great.
Yes.
Going down those streets. And what's interesting as well is Antwerp has been named as like one of the top places in 2024 to go to, like recommended by Condé Nast. Like, it's an undiscovered gem. And it's saying that there's so much culture there, and they've also got really ambitious development, which I think could be really interesting for summer. So they've got something called the Zuidpark.
Ooh.
So it should be opening spring 2024, we hope. And it's supposed to be like a 7-hectare park with 30,000 plants and like loads of smart water features. And like it's all part of like the city's like effort to be greener.
Amazing.
So I heard like it's a really great city to go to, like full of kind of like shops and interesting like streets and stuff. But then like amazing that it's got this like real kind of, I guess, going down that green route that so many of us are seeking to be influenced by and driving that kind of sustainability agenda.
Absolutely. It really reminds me of Milan. So we've done Milan for a few years in a row now.
Yes.
Going to Saloni at the same time. So it's a big festival that they have on, an interiors show. And then it spills out into the city, and all the shops open their doors and put on exhibitions and things like that. And I think we maybe have touched upon this.
Yeah, and that green building.
The green building, the biophilic design.
I love that building. I just think it's amazing.
It's fantastic. And big retailers like IKEA do a big exhibition, always do sort of a big exhibition centre there. I think they did one through the ages last time, which was absolutely fantastic. It was just such a brilliant way to look at the heritage of the brand and see all the different, how the design's changed.
That's really cool.
Like, it's a great city to visit for interiors.
Another one that's really good, because Scandi style is still super on trend. Copenhagen.
Yeah, Copenhagen.
I absolutely love Copenhagen. I love all the little stores. I'm a Scandi at heart anyway.
Yep.
And it's interesting because, again, another top place that's been mentioned as like a place to go for 2024 is the Carlsberg City District. So it's saying that really like it's got a lot more contemporary architecture. It's got loads of new restaurants and shops. So definitely going to Copenhagen and visiting that area is a must. And you
also pick up some really good brands, I think, in the Scandinavian countries that are quite relatable to the UK. So I think that's where you can find quite nice sort of like clean living, clean lines, brands that you can bring into your stores.
They're always really quite innovative and practical, but without losing design.
Yes, definitely.
Because so often something can be practical and it just has no style at all. And I think that's what they do so well, is practicality with style.
Yes.
And I think it's a good one to go all year round, but mostly probably in the summer.
Yeah.
I think that's when you get the most out of it, just because like it's more enjoyable to wander around the towns and cities, isn't it, in the summer?
Let's be honest. I think the other good place for Christmas is Paris. I've done Paris before, which is actually. I mean, I went to Paris after going to America for a few years in a row, and I found it really great. I think maybe that's because it was America was kind of losing its appeal. Because
when you've been so many, when you go season after season, you do. Paris, I think you need to switch it up each year. It needs to be something different. Can't keep going to the same place.
And they're really good for food as well. Like if you go to all the big department stores, Bon Marché, Galeries Lafayette, like the department store, I can't think of the name, that's next to another one that's just all about food. Can't think of the name of it.
Great description.
We'll put it in the show notes. They're great for food packaging, food concept, food ideas. It's just, absolutely inspirational place to go. And, it's accessible for us to go to Paris as well, isn't it? It's not an expensive trip.
No, super, super easy to get to.
Yeah. And then my last one would be Barcelona. Which was really great for jewellery and gifting. So just down their little lanes, and some of the Spanish brands are really brilliant for more like eclectic style jewellery, a bit more, I don't know what the word is. Yeah, eclectic lady, maybe.
Interesting.
So I think Barcelona also has that great like arty cultural vibe, doesn't it, as well, with all the architecture there, and great city to explore for lots of amazing inspiration.
And when talking about Spain, often we think about like Midland and the south, but interesting, like there's a place called Uturias. It's spelled with an A. Uturias. And that's in northwest Spain, which doesn't really get that much attention, does it? No. But I think, again, when we're talking about like kind of the biophilic design and being much more kind of like green and sustainable, like that's a really interesting one, like for sort of like the environmentally conscious.
Yes.
A really good place to visit. And another one, and actually a few friends have been visiting Budapest in Hungary.
Yeah, I've heard it's
because there's a real spa culture there as well, isn't there? So tag on a couple of days.
Gosh, yes.
But it's a city absolutely buzzing with creativity, and I
think maybe we should go find out.
And we'll report back
for it. And we'll report back. So, what are some of the trends we're loving at the moment?
Well, we can't not say biophilic design because we've said it 3 or 4 times.
It is. I know. It is
love.
Amazing. Everybody is becoming a plant parent these days. Plants are taking over the world, which is fantastic.
They are, and it's calming and it's fresh and it's good for like the
oxygen they give off.
Exactly. Yes. It's good for a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the other things I'm really, really loving for spring, summer 2024 are the sequins and the metallics. Like, I love a sequin, but I find that so often like a winter thing, like it's always like a Christmas party thing. I love a summer sequin. Like the way that the sun shines off them. I actually have just bought myself some sequin shorts.
Mate.
And when we say shorts, short shorts.
Wow, bold.
Because I think the word is in. Mini skirt is gone.
Yep.
Not that I could get away with a mini skirt these days anyway.
Me neither.
But a mini short.
Yeah, I love a short.
Love a short. And I do prefer a short short to a long short. It's so much more flattering.
Yeah, if you've got the legs.
And if you don't, you just get a pair of those shimmery tights. The sort of ones that, you'd wear during PE in circa 1998.
It's coming back. So obviously we need to talk about colour. Colour is such a huge thing that we all take from these inspirational trips. I know a lot of my lifestyle trends the colour palettes have all formed from the inspirational trips that I've been on. And so much of this colour. I saw so much of this colour last year. So cobalt blue with caramel tones is very
Nice.
on trend this year.
I'm loving
Heard
the
it here
caramel
first.
tones, but I am getting and I do love a neutral, but I like that neutrals are going more down for this summer, I'm going to be a sequin neutral. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
I think it's clear that Kate's going to be in sequins from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m.
But the caramel tones are getting a bit flat for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that they're being enhanced with like a bright colour like a cobalt, or they're being enhanced by like a sequin or a shimmer.
Yes, that's
That's the way I'm taking it anyway.
And Pantone of the year, peach fuzz. Peach fuzz.
I love the peach fuzz.
Yeah,
I think it's
so
a really
nice.
lovely like tone to have, which isn't too much of a step away from a neutral.
Yeah,
you know,
and
like
it's not too like if you don't like pink.
Yeah,
you don't. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a pink. It's a warm colour.
It's like apricot-y, and it's just
warming.
but not even quite as. It's not as punchy as apricot. But no, I really really love that too. And nudes are still around, but as I said, I'm preferring them in there with a pop of colour or in a sequin. And then there was a lot of red for winter, but you're telling me it's going to continue.
Well, apparently from the latest Milan reports, there's still some deep reds, but mainly in like more of a sort of a pleathery finish.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that's interesting. So not
almost
on the softer texture.
Almost like in like a burgundy tone. And actually, that then works really well with that peach colour. I'm thinking like Moroccan sort of style.
Very
like
Moroccan
peach
vibes.
And sort of a burgundy red.
Love that.
I really love that too. And then they're saying that green, the antidote to red, is coming in this summer. Yeah. And what did they call it? What was the colour?
They called it Electric Circus Green.
Love that.
Oh,
do you know what I think of when I think of like a beautiful like green dress? Do you remember that dress that Jennifer Lopez?
I'm just going to say.
Did you know?
Jennifer Lopez. Yeah.
So striking, isn't it?
Yeah, with the palm print.
Yeah, it just makes me think of that, and that's just like that's a proper pop of colour for summer.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just some of our sort of observations on colour and trends, and I think there's some real amazing insight into cities in there as well. Definitely. I mean, we could talk about loads of different cities and
all the trends. One last trend I have to mention: florals.
Groundbreaking. I actually watched that the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, it's classic, isn't it?
But florals were all over the catwalk, and they were in a really like, because I think crochet's coming back as well.
Oh yeah,
like that's a real kind of like crafty trend, and
crafting in itself.
Yeah.
My God.
And like crochet flowers and sort of like 3D flowers, and in sort of black and white, you know, in just all white or all black can be really quite eye-catching, but also in like eye-popping colours.
Yeah.
And you've got beautiful like lace and crochet and beautiful way of doing the lace and having pops of colour on that.
Yeah, stunning.
And should we take this moment as a break to have some retail therapy?
Retail therapy.
Do you want to go first?
Okay, I've got one, Kate.
I'm ready.
My retail therapy story isn't something I did, but something I wanted to do and couldn't. And I just have to get it off my chest. Oh, wow. As it still bugs me now. I was at a high street retailer, and as BAAs, we used to comp shop around London. But we all really would have loved to have gone further afield.
Who wouldn't?
Exactly. As a BAA. Maybe even abroad to a cool city, but we weren't allowed. Apparently, all the BMAs from Topshop went to Paris to comp shop, but spent the whole time having a jolly. They were too busy partying and then too hungover that they didn't take any photos, and so found a load of images online to present back.
No.
It didn't go down well, and when the story spread, a ban was put on all entry-level trips abroad, in our company at least.
Oh, that's so sad. I wonder how they got found out. That's so sad.
Oh my God.
It also just shows how quickly information can spread.
I know. I bet that story grew arms and legs by all different rumours and stuff as well.
I mean, a lesson to us all.
If you were a BMA on that trip, please write it.
Yeah, please. Is this true?
Is this true?
Yeah, has it been exaggerated?
Yeah.
But definitely a lesson to us all. Take some photos and then go party.
Absolutely.
Right, what have I got? Okay. I was very lucky to be taken on an all-expenses paid trip to NYC with a supplier. Woo!
Wow.
It sounded the dream, staying in a fancy hotel on Times Square and being wined and dined every day and night. But it did mean having to be with them 24/7. My buying director had made them sign a letter to say, 1, that we wouldn't be expected to increase our buy with them, but also 2, I was not to pay for anything, i.e. I wouldn't be able to expense a thing. So from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep, I had to be with the supplier, and to do anything, I needed them to buy it for me. It was like being away with my parents, but to the absolute extreme.
Oh my God, that's like sounds lovely, but then when you read more into that, that's intense.
It's like a dream that turns into a nightmare,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Depending on the supplier.
But not being able to do anything, like you just must have felt so like you're in a strange country. I mean, you probably could just gone and bought something yourself, but
yeah. Wow.
Sounds tough.
That is tough.
Right. Well, that comes to the end, I think. Who doesn't love an inspiration trip, hey? One of the most creative parts of the job. So similarly to a development trip, you do need to keep on top of your BAU. So I think, again, like as fabulous as the destinations can be and nice it is to be at the office, that day-to-day running of the team does not go away. But I definitely think it's worth the juggle for the ideas you can get. So here are our 3 recommendations for inspiration trips.
Number 1, don't just stay in your lane. Inspiration trips are a great one for going with other departments such as design or marketing or VM and having a great bounce around of ideas. Number 2, incorporate store visits if you have any in that area. Great to see from a customer point of view in other demographics. Great to see from customer point of view in any other demographic or geographical location. Number 3, plan an inspiration trip to gain the right information at the right time to influence your next range. Think carefully about timing. Ideally, this will be at the beginning of your critical path to help you plan your strategy, but depending on your product category, it might be months ahead of your critical path starting. For example, beach inspiration trips need to be in the summer. Shocking. Depending on where you're going. Unless you go to Australia, which I don't think any company has.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
But your critical path may not need to start until the following February.
That's a really good point. Plan carefully.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for listening. Next week, we have our first guest joining us. And we hope you will too.
See you then.
Bye.